purpose of this report is to provide you with an analysis of your current diet and make some recommendations based on your goals and the requirement of your sport, which is bodybuilding. You've told us that you're a 22-year-old female amateur bodybuilder who's currently following a vegan diet. You're an aspiring fitness competitor hoping to compete in a bikini competition next year. So your main goal is to reduce your body fat while maintaining the muscle mass that you have. You've told us that you're 1.57 meters tall and 61 kilos, which gives you a body mass index of 25, which is at the higher end of normal. You've estimated that you're currently around 28% body fat, but for competition, you'd like to get your body fat percentage below 20%. You've told us that you've got a sedentary job, but that you do cycle to work 4 times a week, which is a 90-minute round trip. And according to your polar heart rate monitor, that burns around 350 calories. Your other workouts of the week consist of 4 weight training sessions. And you've told us that you burn about 300 calories during each session. You've also told us that in the past 3 months, you've actually gained 2.7 kilos. All humans need energy to sustain life and keep every part of the body functioning how it should be. We get this energy from the food we eat, and the term most commonly used to express the energy consumed and expended by humans is either kilocalories, which can be shortened to calories, or kilojoules. A kilocalorie represents the amount of heat that's needed to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. One thing that's important to understand is the concept of energy balance, particularly for athletes, as your energy requirements are going to increase when you do exercise. Basically, energy balance means that when the amount of calories you eat is equal to the amount of calories that your body is burning, you are in energy balance and your weight is going to stay the same. If you're consuming less calories than you're burning, that is when you're going to be losing weight, and if you're consuming more calories than you're burning, that's when you're going to be gaining weight. Any activity that you do requires energy. The major energy systems that your body uses are the creatine phosphate system, which is also known as the ATP-PC system, the glycolytic system, and the oxidative system. The energy system that you're going to use while doing weight training will depend on the intensity and the duration of the exercise. Your body does use all of these energy systems at the same time. However, since weight training exercises typically don't last more than 5 minutes, the main energy systems that your body will use are the ATP-PC system and the glycolytic system. The ATP-PC system is used when the activity is going to last from anywhere between 10 and 15 seconds. So basically, this is meant for giving you short bursts of energy. So this energy system will be used when you're performing heavy weightlifting that lasts less than 15 seconds. The glycolytic system is used when you're doing exercises that last from about 15 seconds up to 3 minutes, meaning that, again, it's also used for short bursts of energy and endurance events. This energy system is used when you're doing endurance-based weightlifting that will last up to 5 minutes. You gave us a week's worth of your food and activity diaries, which we then analyzed using a program called WinDiets. From the average of your weekly activity, WinDiets gave you an activity level of 1.58, which would imply that you are moderately active. Your resting metabolic rate, which is the amount of calories that your body needs at rest just to maintain basic body functions, was calculated at 1,403 calories using the Harris-Benedict equation. And we then multiplied that number by your activity level of 1.58, which gave you a daily calorie burn of approximately 2,216 calories. This number represents the approximate amount of calories that your body burns each day with the current activity that you do. When we analyzed your food diary using WinDiets, we found that you were consuming an average of 2,177 calories per day, which does indicate that you're consuming just under the amount of calories that you're burning every day. However, you did tell us that over the past 3 months, you've gained 2.7 kilograms, which would imply that you're either overestimating the amount of activity that you've been doing or underestimating the amount of calories that you've been eating, both of which are quite easy to do since it's not an exact science. You told us that your goal is to lose weight in order to compete in a bikini competition next year. Preparing for a bodybuilding competition involves drastically reducing your body fat while maintaining lean body mass. Ideal body weight loss for bodybuilders is between 0.5 and 1% per week, as this rate of weight loss is best for maintaining lean body mass. Losing anything more than this per week is going to result in a lot of muscle loss, which you do not want. For you, this is going to translate into a loss of between 0.31 and 0.61 kilograms per week. Weight loss is ideally achieved by a combination of reducing your calories, increasing your cardiovascular activity, and doing intense strength training. 1 pound of pure body fat is equal to 3,500 calories, which is important to know when you're creating a deficit for weight loss. It's important to try and keep the deficit as small as possible to avoid losing lean body mass. From the amount of calories that you're going to be eating in order to lose weight, you need to make sure that you're keeping your protein high. For people who are in bodybuilding contest preparations, it's recommended that your protein intake is between 2.3 and 3.1 grams per kilogram of lean body mass. For fat, your total percentage of calories should be between 15 and 30% of your total calories. And for carbs, it's just going to be whatever's remaining, but you do want to make sure that you're getting enough carbs, otherwise your training will suffer. Alright, so the macronutrients that provide energy for all living functions of the human body are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Carbohydrates provide you with 4 calories per gram, proteins also provide you with 4 calories per gram, and fats provide you with 9 calories per gram. All 3 of these are needed in large quantities to support functions such as growth, thermoregulation, and physical activity. According to your weekly diet, you were having an average of 47.4 grams of fat, 54.6 grams of protein, and 358.2 grams of carbohydrates.
Right, so looking through the week, on day 4 you'd had, that was your highest amount of calories on that day. You'd had 4,154 calories, but 167 grams of them was alcohol, and alcohol is 7 calories per gram. So that will have contributed a lot to why that was such a high calorie amount. And then the day after that, you had 2,697 calories. That could have been because alcohol impairs your judgment, you could have been hungover, and you tend to eat sugary, fatty foods on those days. Your lowest day was day 6 and you only had 1,264 calories. You tended to yo-yo quite a bit with the amount you ate on some days, and that could have made you binge on the other days and eat a higher amount of calories. So maybe evening out what you eat to keep in the calories a regular amount. Right, so for this section we'll be analysing your diet. Your total daily energy expenditure is 2,216 calories, but according to your diet plan, you were only eating 2,177 calories. So you should really be losing weight, but you aren't, you're gaining weight. This might be because you're underestimating what you're eating and overestimating how many calories you were burning with your heart rate monitor. Also, you were having 3 takeaways a week, and it's hard to measure out what you were eating in the takeaways, how much fat there is, how much oil was used, so that could have affected it as well. As well, on day 4, you had what was classed by the NHS as an alcohol binge, basically, because you had over 20 units of alcohol. So our recommendations for you calorie wise is to cut out drinking alcohol, because you're wasting a lot of empty calories while drinking alcohol. And as well to cut out the takeaways, because that is going to be where a lot of your calories is going, which is why you'll be gaining weight. So either cut them out altogether or just keep it to 1 a week as a treat. Right, so continuing on from alcohol, we said that you had 20 units of alcohol. It was around 167 grams of alcohol that you actually had, but you couldn't say for definite though that you actually drank that because you were out at the time. So you may have drank more, you may have drank less. Health-wise, the effects that alcohol can have on you is, as you're a woman, it can increase your risk of breast cancer, it can increase your risk of heart disease, liver cirrhosis, pancreatitis, and it can decrease your fertility is chance of having children. In terms of bodybuilding, it like increases a hormone called cortisol, and that is a stress hormone. And what that will do is that promotes fat gain, and it promotes muscle wastage, basically. So we suggest that you cut out that alcohol. The next one we're going to talk about is protein. So protein's good for synthesis of tissue, organs, skin, hair. You were within recommendations, but considering you were training for a bodybuilding competition and you are weightlifting, it is recommended that you do increase your protein allowance. Right, so in order to keep lean muscle mass, we recommend that you have your protein intake to around 2.3 to 3.1 grams per kilogram of lean body mass. It's also recommended that you have about a mixture of protein and carbs before, during, after your workout, as this maintains protein synthesis and reduces the breakdown of amino acids. In terms of protein and weight loss, the more protein you eat, the more you are satiated. Studies have shown that people who had a high protein diet lost 4.9 kilograms of body weight and 3.7 kilograms of body fat percentage. Vegan sources of protein are things like chickpeas, peanut butter. You can also have things like tofu. Like My Protein do a vegan blend which has around 21 grams of protein per serving. If you try and fit them in with each meal, that's going to prevent breakdown of protein. Right, so we're now going to talk about B12, which is water-soluble vitamin. So B12 is works on the brain functions, the nervous system, formation of blood. The reason why it's important for you is because as a vegan, you don't produce any of your own B12, and you won't get any from plants, as plants don't produce it either. You get it from meat and dairy. A deficiency in B12 could be anemia, fatigue, palpitations, pale skin, menstrual problems. These could affect your performance in the gym. Yours is really low. It's below 100, which is, it's already classed as low. So what we recommend is for you to either go to your GP and get B12 injections or get B12 tablets. We are now going to talk about calcium, which is a mineral, and phosphorus. These promote bone health and nerve conduction. Your diet's deficient in calcium, which could lead to stretch fractures during weight training. And also you do have a lot of phosphorus in your diet. Having a low amount of calcium and a high amount of phosphorus could lead to problems such as kidney disease. Studies have also shown that it could, having that ratio could lead to bone density loss, and which is essentially going to lead to injuries when you start training. We recommend that you increase your calcium so you have an even ratio of phosphorus. So you could have things such as dark leafy vegetables such as spinach, kale, green collards, broccoli. You could get fortified soy milks, and also a lot of soy products already have calcium in them. And finally, we're going to talk about your sodium content and your water content. Your sodium was very, very high, and your water content was really low. You didn't mention if you were drinking any water outside of that, but assuming that you won't, it could lead to dehydration, which on the competition day could lower the volume of your muscles, giving you a flat appearance, and will essentially lower points in that. Also, on the other hand, having a high sodium content will lead to your body retaining water, so you won't get that muscle definition that the contestants and the judges will be looking for. So what we recommend is to keep your sodium content low, so stop takeaways. They'll have a lot of sodium content in them, and drink at least 2 liters of water a day to flush out all the sodium that you have in your body.